Even more menacing than the keyboards are the mice, the computer mouses. I've seen a lot of things online which claim to be ergonomic computer mouses or mice or whatever you want to call them that aren't really that ergonomic. The problem with mouses, mices, is that they tend to force your hand at an angle like this. And it's a lot of conscious effort to keep your hand flat. There are mouse pads that have gel in them that will help keep your hand at a more neutral angle. You're actually resting this part of your hand on the gel. And as long as it's a pretty light pressure, it's basically okay. You can do the same thing with rolled up washcloth that's rolled up in a different way than my little wrist rest. One thing you want to avoid is reaching for a mouse. You want it very close to you, and it's a good idea to train yourself to use a mouse left-handed, which for a right-handed person is very counterintuitive and takes a little while to get used to. But the numbers on the keypad are on the right, and the main areas that most people are using is more on the left side, so having a mouse on the left side makes a lot of sense. So training yourself to use a left-handed mouse will give that right hand a much needed break if you're a right-handed person. The most innovative thing on the market is a vertical mouse, and I recently looked at Staples on their website and they didn't have them. You can find them online though, and they might run you $100, however, or somewhere in that price range, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 125, whatever. And you're using your mouse in a very neutral position, meaning you're not pronating, which is hands down, or not supinating with hands up. You're using your actual mouse in a vertical position. And if you do order one online, make sure you know what their return policy is. Now there's a lot written on monitors as to how far away and how high they should be. Basically, you want to have a monitor at a height that's comfortable, so you're looking into it and not craning your neck. How far away it is doesn't matter that much as long as it's comfortable. And if it's too low, you can use a big book or two and place your monitor on top of that. And if that looks ugly, you can use a box, fill it with magazines so it's solid, magazines or books. And if that looks ugly, gift wrap it. And I've also seen very solid file boxes that you can slip your papers in and out box or your printer paper into the side, so that it makes your desktop surface a little more usable. So here I have my exercise ball, otherwise known as fitness balls, yoga balls, body balls, Pilates balls, whatever. I like to call them an exercise ball because you get these little pumps come with them, like this, or a foot pump like this, just to drive your dog nuts. It takes quite an effort to pump them up. They do have adapters you can buy to put on a bicycle pump or a automobile tire pump, which is the same nozzle as a bicycle pump. Or you can buy bigger pumps for these for about 20 bucks or so. I got this ball at a sporting goods store on sale for 14 bucks. They probably average about 25 bucks or so. This one's not fully inflated because my computer desk is not the table I showed you. I have a keyboard tray which is lower, so this ball could actually probably be about 6 inches bigger in diameter when it's fully inflated. One of the problems is they're not adjustable because this table that I showed you before is too low for this ball, even though this ball is the right size for my computer desk in my other room, which I don't want to show you because, well, never mind. The good thing of these balls, another name is balance balls, is they will help you position yourself with good posture, and also because having your back in a static position all the time is very hard on your back. This will allow your different muscles in your back to work, and it's much more satisfying for your back muscles. A big problem with any chair without arms is that it's hard on your shoulders. If you have an armrest with the right height for you, and it's important to have an adjustable armrest, unless it just happens to be the right height for you, is that if it's padded in the right height, it'll take the pressure off your shoulder joint, and a lot of people do have problems with their shoulders. Now, if you feel a pain right about there, which is about the bra line on a woman, and if you're a man, you know where that is too, not between the shoulder blades, but down here, that's caused by the lower part of your trapezius. There's 4 parts of your trapezius, and the lowest part ends right there, and that's for your shoulders struggling to hold your arms up in place. So a lot of people feel pain right there, and if you do, get a computer chair that has armrests. Unfortunately, these balls don't, and I've been looking on the internet. You know, there are computer chairs that do put these balls in them, and they go on canisters, and some of them have backrests, which are really nice. But the only one I saw that had armrests had very bad reviews as far as the armrest not being adjustable or being too low for anybody. A few cautions with these balls. You don't want to have them in an office where there's pranksters. You've probably seen stupid videos where someone will take a knife and while somebody's sitting on a ball, poof, and they're on the floor, or else kick the ball out from underneath them or whatever. And pranksters can cause a lot of injuries. If you don't have good balance, these balls are great for building up balance, but the first time you use one, you don't want to be wearing high heels and a tight skirt and have sharp objects around you. Little practice. Now, you may not want to have this as your full-time computer chair, but it's good to have something like this to switch back and forth onto, because your low back really loves this thing. Another type of chair which they have, which I was surprised to see on the internet because I thought they were, you know, gone in the 1970s, is those kneeling chairs. Another problem with most of those is they're not very adjustable. Some of them you can adjust, but I think their adjustability is limited. And those are very good on your back too. The problem with those, and I think the reason they fell out of favor in the 70s, because they were pretty big for a while, is that they can be hard on your knees and your shins. So if you have one of those, it's good to use it once in a while. If there's start hurting your knees, switch back to a regular chair, because your body does like variety.